Hey guys, today we're going to react to one of my favorite videos on YouTube. CNBC just posted a video that clearly broke down how much money you have to save each month to live on $50,000 a year in retirement. But what we're going to do is we're going to take the video one step further, and we're going to use this to show how, based on where you decide to save the money or how you decide to save it, each of those dollars will be worth a different amount of money when you decide to retire. So this video is the perfect introduction to what 401ks are, how to save for retirement, but also how do you make the numbers work for you. So with that being said, why don't we get started and play the video.
An interest-only retirement plan removes one of the biggest fears about life after leaving your job. Will my money last me? Because if you can save enough money now, you can fund your retirement by living off of your returns without ever touching your nest egg. NerdWallet crunched the numbers, and we can tell you how much you need to save now.
Let's pause for 1 second. All they're simply saying is if we all save enough money and we get a certain return from that investment or from that money we have, we can live off that money and we won't necessarily have to work. So what I love about this video is they're trying to say, how much money do we have to save in order to make enough money off that passive investment? So it's a really great introduction to passive income and how do we make our money work for us.
To get $50,000 a year in retirement without taking a bite out of your principal. First, some ground rules. The numbers assume you'll retire at age 65 and have no money in savings now. For investing, we also assume an annual 6% return when you are saving and a more conservative 3% rate for your interest-only retirement. We do not factor in inflation.
So these are a really solid set of assumptions. I use between a 6 and 8% return on my investment whenever I'm planning for myself long term. What's really important to know though is if you're going to hit these types of returns, you're definitely going to need to invest in stocks. There's not a lot of savings accounts or bonds that are going to produce a 6% return. So you really have to put your money more towards stocks and index funds in order to achieve those historical returns. But I think the assumptions they're using are really solid. Let's continue.
Taxes, or any additional income you may get from Social Security and your 401k. Now, let's get to the numbers. To get $50,000 a year in interest only, you'll need to save more than $1.5 million by the time you retire at age 65. That means a person starting at 25 would need to save $837 a month in order to bring home $50,000 every year after they retire, just living off of interest. Waiting until 30 means saving $1,170 to fund their $50,000 a year retirement.
All right, let's pause here really quick. So I quickly want to explain why there's such a big difference between starting saving at 20 or 25 or 30 or 40. The reason why is over time, your money will double. So basically, based on the percent they're using, every about 10 to 11 years, their money's doubling. So that means every 10 years, the money doubles. And that means that the less or the more money you save early in your life, the less money you have to save later in your life. So that's the reason why the math is breaking down. So CNBC's video basically said we have to save $1.6 million so that we can live off $50,000 per year in passive income. Now what we want to do is we want to take that one step further and we want to show with very simple math how, based on where we decide to put that money for our retirement, it means we'll have to save a different amount of money. And really the intent here is to help you guys understand or help learn about all the different places that we can put our money and the benefits of that and how that's going to impact our future. Right before we start, we're going to spend 5 seconds and we're going to talk through the 3 basic places where you can keep your retirement savings. There's many more, but these are the 3 most common, and I think they're a really good example to start with. The first is a brokerage account. And a brokerage account is just a place where we're buying stocks and investing in companies, and it has no special tax privileges. Anyone can open a brokerage account and anyone can trade. It's your Robinhood account or your Scottrade account. It's basically just an account we use to keep stocks or investments in. The second example is your 401k account, and this is an employer-sponsored retirement plans, and actually many employers match your investment in these accounts. A 401k has certain tax advantages and certain benefits, and we'll talk about that soon. The third good option is a Roth IRA. What's great about a Roth IRA is you take money that you get paid after taxes and you put it into an account. And in the future, you take no tax on that when you take money out. So the best thing about a Roth IRA is it's basically tax-free. So what we're going to do right before we jump into how we compare these and how we break down the math in a really simple to understand way, first we need to start with what is an effective tax rate. So an effective tax rate is the amount you pay after all lawful deductions and credits. So a really good example is many people take a standard deduction, which basically decreases your income by a little bit so that you don't have to pay taxes on your first chunk of income. All right, let's get started with our three options. So I said earlier we have a brokerage, a 401k, and a Roth IRA. Right before we go into the numbers, there's two basic things we need to consider for each of these accounts. The first one is there a contribution limit, which means how much money can we put in each year of these account? And the second one is our contribution into the account before or after taxes? So with a brokerage account, it doesn't matter how much money you make or how much money you put in it, you can put as much as you want. And there is no limit. Anyone can buy as much stock as they want in 1 year. The thing about a brokerage account though is you're using your after-tax dollars, which means after you pay income taxes, you're taking that money and using it to buy stocks. A 401k is a little bit different. There's a $19,000 per year limit on how much money you put into a 401k, and it uses your pre-tax dollars. So what that means is you take money before paying taxes, put it in an account, and then after you withdraw that money, the government will tax you. So it's not tax-free money, but it's a really good vehicle, and it helps lower the amount of taxes you pay each year by putting money in a retirement account that you'll eventually take money out of. The third option, or the third place to keep your retirement money, is a Roth IRA. And a Roth IRA is a really good tool as well. So there's a $6,000 per year limit on a Roth IRA, and it uses after-tax income. What that means is, similar to the brokerage account, after you pay your taxes, you take that money and you buy stock, or you buy companies, or you buy bonds in your Roth IRA. What makes each of these accounts different isn't just the money we can put into it or after or pre-tax dollars. It's after we put money into the account, how much money will the government take for themselves from that investment account? So for example, what we're going to do is we're going to show if you were to take $50,000 per year out of these accounts, what the tax implication of each account would be. So for a brokerage accounts, you have to pay capital gains tax, which is 15%, and state tax. But your first $40,000 in capital gains tax is tax-free for capital gains. So effectively, your capital gain tax rate is 3% and your state tax rate is 4%, so a total of 7%. With a 401k, I said earlier that you don't pay taxes with that money. You actually put it in a tax advantage account and then you pay taxes when you take money out of the 401k. So in your 401k, when you take money, you're going to be taxed at an income tax rate that you have in your retirement. So for most people, it'll be around 20% based on their income of $50,000 per year. So what's really important to know about a 401k is while your number may look like it's growing faster in a 401k because you're using pre-tax dollars, you do have to pay taxes when you pull it out. So all the dollars you have in a 401k will be taxed at a higher tax rate compared to the rest of your retirement vehicles. The third option is the Roth IRA. And in most states, a Roth is not taxed, and it's not taxed by the federal government, which means as you put money in this account, and as that money grows, once you get of retirement age, you're able to take as much money you want from that account. So this is a really high level overview on the different tax rates. And now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you guys, if you were to take $50,000 per year out of each of those accounts, how much money you'd be paying in tax. So we have three examples here: a Roth IRA, a brokerage, and a 401k. For the IRA, we can only contribute $6,000 per year in it. And that's not enough money to save for retirement for the $50,000. We need $800 a month. So what I did is I used a combination of the $6,000 for the IRA and then the rest in the brokerage account. But what it shows is by using an IRA for some of your retirement funds, you're able to greatly reduce your federal and state tax bill when it comes to retirement age. So you can see by using an IRA, your tax liability would be about $1,400 per year. If you're using a brokerage account, about $3,500 per year. And if you're using an entirely a 401k, you'd be paying $10,000 per year in tax. So the intent of this slide isn't to show 401ks are good or brokerage accounts are bad. It's really just to show how wherever we're putting our retirement money, when we retire, we're going to pay a different amount of that money in taxes to the government. So it's really just to help us plan and understand. In fact, I think both 401ks, brokerages, and IRAs are great tools, and I use all three of these tools myself to plan for my retirement. But I do that knowing that each of these tools has a different tax implication. So I believe it's really good to be diversified here. Excellent. So I hope you guys took a lot away from this video. The intent of this video was to show how not all retirement dollars are the same, and also to recognize the great video CNBC posted around how to save for retirement. So I hope this video got you guys a little bit more excited about taxes and 401ks, which is really hard to do. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. But anyways, please like and subscribe. This is a new channel. I'm going to bring you content every single week. And thank you guys for watching this far. I had a great time.